Well, over the course of the last year, there have been many reasons to criticise the UK government for dithering and for U-turning. But one thing that does seem to be going remarkably well, and I must say better than I thought it would, is the vaccine rollout. Now, cast your minds back to early last year. We just left the European Union, and the British government decided that we'd leave the European Medicines Agency and we'd make our own medical decisions. Oh, how The Guardian and the pro-EU commentators said this was a Brexit decision taken by Boris that would endanger British lives. Well, how wrong they've been. Because once vaccines were approved, the British government were very, very quick to act. In contrast, the EU dithered and delayed. Why? Well, of course, it's a bureaucratic process, a grinding machine that can't do anything quickly. And they're always obsessed with something called the precautionary principle, which makes it very difficult to get anything new out to consumers. So fast forward to where we are now, since the UK made that decision. And I'm pleased to say that 10% of the population have now been vaccinated. Hopefully, we're going to be on target to get the vulnerable vaccinated by the time Valentine's Day comes along. So 10% of the UK has been vaccinated. In the EU, the figure is 2%. And that is leading to huge criticism of the European Commission. Remember, they're the ones that really make the big decisions. In the Netherlands, you've got riots now taking place night after night as they've been put under curfew, and they're very critical of the slow way in which the vaccine's being rolled out. In Italy, the Prime Minister today is going to the President to tender his resignation. Now, he may form a new coalition, I don't know, or there could be elections. If there are elections in Italy, then the Eurosceptics, who've always been critical of centralised decision-making in Brussels, will do very well on the back of this. So step into the fray. Last night, EU Commissioner Stella Kyriakides. Yes, I know you've never heard of her. No one in Europe's ever heard of her either, don't worry. She's a Cypriot. She's in charge of health for the European Union. Remember, we were told it's just about trade. Don't worry your little heads. Well, of course, if you're in the EU, it controls every aspect of your lives. And she got up last night and made a speech, worried about the slow rollout of vaccines in the European Union, even more worried that a very big order that they'd latterly placed with AstraZeneca is not going to be met. The target isn't going to be met for the number of vaccines they want in time. So I guess she felt she had to do something.
In addition, the Commission has today proposed to the 27 member states in the steering board that an export transparency mechanism will be put in place as soon as possible. We want clarity on transactions and full transparency concerning the export of vaccines from the EU. In the future, all companies producing vaccines against COVID-19 in the EU will have to provide early notification whenever they want to export vaccines to third countries. The European Union will take any action required to protect its citizens and rights.
Yep, what she's saying is very, very simple. No vaccines produced within the European Union can be exported outside of the European Union unless they get permission from the European Commission. Could this impact us? Well, the AstraZeneca vaccine that we're going to be using in this country is manufactured here, but the Pfizer vaccine with which we started this process and with whom we have another 3.5 million doses on order due to be delivered fairly quickly, that is manufactured in Belgium. So if this unelected European Commissioner decided she could stop those doses coming to Britain, despite the fact the British government has entered into a contract, signed a contract with a private company. All of this tells us everything we need to know about the European Union. nasty, vindictive, and very nationalistic. They are quite happy to interfere in the free market, to try to cover up for their own dither and delay and their own incompetence. And they actually, in many ways, would like to punish the United Kingdom. You see, they are very, very scared of Brexit. Very scared indeed. It's one of the reasons why we're seeing this nonsense going on at the borders, all of which clearly is not in keeping with the spirit of the agreement that was signed. They can't afford for Brexit Britain to do well, because if Brexit Britain does well, countries all over the EU will see their populations saying, look, in the biggest pandemic, the biggest, most serious crisis we've faced for decades, the Brits were in a position to act, to do things for themselves, and we were reliant on these people in Brussels who only look after their own interests and the political project that is called the European Union. It is, and I've always said this, but it is a bad project run by bad people. It is not in the interests of anyone living in those European countries. And I genuinely hope and believe that Brexit is the first step to the beginning of the end of this Brussels nightmare. People need decisions made for them that directly affect their lives by those they vote for and those they can remove. And I hope our government, I have praised them in this video today, but I hope our government stops this pretense of saying the European Union is absolutely wonderful, it just doesn't suit us. Oh, no, it isn't. It is crushing democracy. It is delivering terrible economic outcomes, particularly for those countries in the Mediterranean. And it's about time we actually started to link arms with other countries around Europe so that they can get back their independence, their liberty. Provided we have a Europe of democratic nation states, we will always have a Europe of peace. And I must say that seeing that speech from that EU Commissioner last night fully justified everything I have thought of, believed in, and fought for over the last 30 years. Brexit was the right thing to do.
We will make America great again.